Hey guys, editing Mariah here. So I spent a few hours editing this episode, and as soon as I tried to save it, the whole thing went blank for some reason. So this is the unedited version because I'm sorry, I have two jobs right now, and I'm not doing that again. But love you guys. Hope you enjoy.
Good morning, Agents of Nothing, and welcome to our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast. We're your commanding officers. I'm Mariah.
And I'm Caroline.
And today we're going to be talking about Season 5, Episode 5, Rewind.
Ooh. So, Mariah, how was your week?
I was good. I turned 30. So,
Woo!
that was a fun time. I do not feel any different.
You mean you didn't just get, slapped with eternal wisdom the second you turned 30?
Yeah. I mean, the side effect is, I'm one of the oldest out of all of my friends.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was true before I turned 30, but now I really am.
It's a stark difference.
Yes.
Your age begins with a different number.
Yeah. And I also got a new job.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited about that.
Woo. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, how was your week?
Well, it's been fine. Nothing really much to report, but this hasn't happened yet, but tomorrow my bandmate and I are going to be doing a cover of Exile at an open mic that we go to.
Nice.
So excited for that. And my dog is currently burying her face in my chest. So there's that. But yeah, so that's been fun. And we have another friend who plays piano who's gonna join us for it. So it'll be a nice full rendition.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's really cool.
It'll be fun.
Really cool.
Really cool.
All right. I feel like I should turn on... No, the lamp is on. Oh my god, why is it so dark in my room?
I don't know. The window is very bright, so...
Yeah. I mean, it's raining outside, so it's dimmer in here than I'm used to it being.
Yeah, true. True.
Anyways, that's a little peek behind the curtain, you guys. As if this entire podcast isn't a peek behind the curtain.
Truly. Y'all know everything about our lives.
Alright, are we ready to get started?
Let's do it.
Alright, this episode was written by Craig Titley. And directed by Jesse Bochco.
Alright.
I still haven't forgiven Craig Titley for the Percy Jackson movie.
God damn it, Craig. Got the worst first name and then the best last name. I don't even know what to do with you. Anyway. So we meet several new characters in this episode. I was pleasantly surprised. So Enoch, which we did meet him before. He's the veiny head, very gay man from the first episode of this season. He's back. And then we have Polly Hinton, no relation to the Pockets, unfortunately. And then her daughter, Robin, who is a mostly nonverbal kid who draws pictures of things they couldn't possibly know about, and then only start to open up once a hot guy starts asking them questions in a very soft voice. You're telling me this isn't a Supernatural episode? Which is a joke for me and only me because Mariah hasn't seen Supernatural. So.
No. I did laugh, though. I laughed when I read it. You can ask Tyler. He can attest.
Oh, good. Okay. That's all I need. So, here we go. Let's dive right in.
Here we go.
So back at the diner, back at where we started this season, we finally see Fitz's point of view of the whole kidnapping. They're all eating, and then the power goes out, and then there are people with guns behind them talking to Coulson. And Fitz starts to say, "This is all my fault. You should just take you should take me and leave the others." But before he can even finish his sentence, the whole rest of the team is just gone. Poof, gone. Which is so rude, honestly.
So
just going to interrupt him while he is self-flagellating? Come on. And then the actual, like, government soldiers come in and arrest Fitz, since they can't find the rest of the team. Poor Fitz. He got left behind, and then he actually did have to, like, take all of the punishment. That's crazy.
Yeah. I literally, like, several times in my notes wanted to write, poor Fitz.
I know. I just wanted to give him a hug. Somebody finally gave him a hug. Oh, my God.
I know.
We'll get to it. So, Fitz is being interrogated in this government facility. And they have no fucking idea what's going on, and neither does Fitz. And so they're just yelling at each other back and forth to be like, "What happened?" And he's like, "I don't know, you tell me." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" Fitz finally says that his theory is that the government kidnapped all of them and then drugged their food and everything, and then brought them here separately to interrogate them and just mess with their minds, which, you know, given everything that he's been through, is a solid theory.
Yeah.
So then he yells for whoever's in charge, and then General Talbot's replacement comes in and brings up all the people that Ada killed, but blames Daisy for it. So Fitz sets the record straight that Ada killed them all, except for Jeffrey Mace, who he says that he is responsible for. The general does not believe him, so he ends up in an orange jumpsuit in a cell all alone.
So at some point during this interrogation, he says there's no crystal ball, there's no beam me up, Scotty, or something like that.
Yeah.
And obviously that is a reference to Star Trek.
Anyway, so he's in his cell. He's, like, just barely falling asleep when he gets startled awake by more yelling and banging and a flashlight in his face, and they fucking drag him back. I'm like, you just put him in there. Why are we dragging him out again?
I know, I did wonder what was the amount of time passed.
Right. But, so they drag him out again, and they hook him up to a lie detector, and they ask him again where each member of his team is. And he just keeps saying, "I don't know, I don't know, I don't know," until they finally ask about Simmons. And then he starts to get emotional, and his voice breaks when he says, "I wish I knew. I'm happy to pay for my sins. I just wish I knew where they were." And why would they make my baby cry like this?
I know.
That was so mean. He continues, and he swears to do whatever he can to help find them if only they'll let him. So they agree to let him help, because he's, as they say, he's the biggest brain they've ever had in this facility. And he says that all he needs is paper, pens, books, and a TV to watch football.
They call it soccer, but
yeah, but we
football.
know. We know what he asked for. And I love that for him.
I did love later in the episode him, like, hitting the TV and yelling. It, like, literally in the subtitle said indistinct yelling.
Yeah. I said this, like, at the end, but this whole episode, I feel like he was, like, more Scottish than usual. And I don't know if that's just because it's been a while since we've seen him, and so, like, the accent is fresh, or if he actually just, like, put on a much thicker accent or something. But, yeah, the indistinct yelling, I was like, that's because he's more Scottish lately. Anyway, so after working for a few days, his first theory is that due to his multiple instances of brain damage, perhaps Fitz himself has developed some form of schizophrenia and he caused the team's disappearance but then blocked out the memory. The soldier or lieutenant or whoever the fuck is interviewing him says that doesn't really line up or make sense because everyone else at the diner has the same missing 2 minutes of memory. So then he starts to think of his next theory and asks for more books, and then he also asks for her to send in a criticism, a letter to a soccer fan magazine talking about how poorly a certain player is doing. Which I love. I knew immediately that was code for something, but hilarious that is the code. And so they agree to do it for him once it's been analyzed by their code breakers. And then he keeps bringing them theory after theory for 6 months. He's racking his brain for 6 months, dude.
For 6 months.
That's insane. And the general is getting fed up. So he finally says that, because she's like, I don't want to hear what you think. You don't think anymore. You should know. Like, okay. And so he finally is like, okay, I know what happened. They got abducted by aliens.
Which is not far off.
Right. Kind of. A little bit. So the general is exasperated and starts to say to, like, lock him back up and take away all of the books and the TV. But just then, Fitz's attorney arrives. And it's Hunter!
Lance fucking Hunter.
The way I literally just, like, started giggling as soon as he walked on screen. I was like, I forgot that we hated you.
Yeah. I feel like this is the Hunter. Okay, we finally got into it. This is the Hunter that y'all remember.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. This was good Hunter. This was Hunter at his better.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
He still was talking shit about Bobby.
And like, even at his best, he was still talking shit about Bobby. Like, Lance Hunter, they could never make me like you.
But we love him in this episode because of the relief that Fitz feels. That, like,
absolutely,
finally he has somebody on his side, somebody on his team. His best friend is back. Yeah.
Also, you didn't make note of it, but I wanted to. The way that Fitz was keeping track of, like, how many days he had been in there was drawing monkeys on the wall.
What is that?
Because he likes monkeys.
Oh, right. I forgot.
Remember, that used to be what he would always suggest.
Yeah, monkeys.
Like, we should get a monkey and make them do it.
He does love monkeys. Aw. I didn't even realize. Honestly, I could not tell what he was drawing. I was like, a bear? I don't know. He's drawing something. Anyway, the relief on Fitz's face when Hunter walks in is just incredible. I wanted to cry immediately. So the letters to the soccer magazine were to get Hunter's attention. But unfortunately, since Hunter was in Bangladesh, it took him a minute to get a copy of a UK magazine and realize that he was being signaled to. And so then they bicker about their football teams for a little, and then they hug because they missed each other. And poor Fitz is so touch-starved that he doesn't want to let go.
I said the exact same thing about him being touch-starved.
Yeah. I mean, it's just... and the way Ian plays it is so good.
Yeah.
Just so good. But like I said, Fitz finally got a fucking hug. I say, like, every episode these people need a fucking hug so bad.
Yes.
And clearly he did. as he finally got it, and I'm so happy for him. So then Fitz starts spouting off his long-winded 3-month escape plan, while Hunter is just calmly directing Fitz around the room using his watch, until they're both out of the way for a bomb to blow a giant hole in the wall. And then Hunter's decoy helicopter, being piloted by his friend Rusty, crashes way before it's supposed to. So they have to make a mad dash for his actual getaway car, which is a very conspicuous RV. Something 2 genius SHIELD agents would never dream to stow away in, of course, obviously.
So the RV that Fitz and Hunter are in is an early 80s Bounder, the same model RV that's used in Breaking Bad. It even has the same color scheme as the iconic Crystal ship.
Oh, wow.
I have never seen Breaking Bad.
Me neither.
I feel like I've absorbed enough of it through osmosis. I don't really have a desire to watch it. Like,
I never cared.
I feel like knowing me is like not only like being amazed at how many things that I just haven't seen, but also being amazed at how many things that I just have no interest in watching.
Same.
I'm like, I'm good,
Same.
actually. Thanks.
I'll tell people I'll put it on the list, but I'll never watch it. Yeah, same. Honestly, like, anytime somebody asks me if I've seen a movie or a TV show, like, a very large percentage of the time I have not. And I'll tell them, we could go down a list. You could just name off movies. And there's a lot that I haven't seen of, like, classics that I just, nope. I don't know.
Even, like, The Breakfast Club. I'm sorry. I mean, I was a teenager when I tried to watch The Breakfast Club, but also isn't that, like, the target audience? I mean, it was teenagers in the 80s.
Yeah.
But I got bored during The Breakfast Club and I turned it off. I'm sorry.
I watched it all the way through, but I also got bored halfway through. I think also, as we've grown up, movies have started having a lot more things happening in them.
Yeah.
So, like, super simple plots like The Breakfast Club, like, at a certain point, you kind of, in time, like, we've gotten used to a lot more things happening, so our attention span is maybe less, and, like, our interest in, like, very simple plots is just not what it was for people in the 80s.
What we're saying is, if you were a teenager in the 80s, you're stupid.
You're simple-minded and an idiot, actually. You're just not as complicated as we are.
No, what it really is that, like, we just need more stimulation for our little rat brains.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm used to the internet.
You're gonna need a little more than that to keep my attention.
Put in a little effort, please. Like 2 men hugging each other. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyway. So, the government is scrambling to find them and figure out how Fitz managed to sneak communication past them. And oh, are they humiliated to realize that they were looking right at his coded messages. Their so-called code breaker team didn't suspect for a second. And then they do see that the RV is the only possible vehicle they could be in, though. So, I mean, not as genius as he thought.
Yeah.
But this is Hunter's plan, not Fitz's. Hunter and Fitz are catching up a little as they drive, and Hunter says that he and Bobby are still together but living separate lives because distance is their key. And then Fitz tells him that for he and Simmons, distance is their curse. Poor baby.
That was a really good line.
It was. Hunter does say that his multi-talented, though clearly not, we're erasing piloting from that list, friend, Rusty, who owns this van, is a very paranoid guy. So...
Or owned.
Huh? What?
Owned.
Did I say
like,
owned?
Past tense. Well, from the point of the helicopter crash onward, they talked about him in past tense.
You're right.
So I assumed he was dead.
You're right. Who owned this van was a very paranoid guy. So he had surveillance equipment in the back of the RV, right under the margarita machine and the ferrets.
So the real names of the two ferrets used in the episode are Salt and Pepper.
Ah! I love that!
That's also something, well, I'm never mind, that ruins the exclusive. But I was in a park yesterday. That's what I'll say. I was in a park, and I saw someone walking their ferret, and it was fantastic.
I love that.
The ferret had like a little harness on.
Cute. I love New Orleans. Anyway, so they pull over so that Fitz can look at the surveillance footage from the diner while Hunter makes himself a margarita. It takes a second, but Fitz finally realizes that the beer truck that was parked outside the diner is able to change its logo. So he's finally able to follow its path by the shape of the truck itself.
So Bindiri English Ale, the truck that figures prominently in Fitz's search for his team, is what Hunter and Bobby are drinking at the end of Parting Shot.
Oh, interesting. We love a good internal reference.
Yeah. And I think even the Bindiri itself, like, I think Bindiri is someone that somebody in the cast knows.
Oh.
So that's a reference in itself.
That's so funny. A reference within a reference within a reference.
Referenceception.
So Fitz and Hunter arrive at the weird alien guy's house, but he's not surprised to see them, to Hunter's dismay. And I love the line where he's like, wait, no, we're here to surprise you. Act surprised. He tells them, or the alien tells them that he sent the SHIELD team to Earth, to the Earth year 2091. Which means that all of the crazy shit that has happened between now and when Deke is alive is like 3 generations from
Generations.
It's like 3 generations from now. 75 years.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's crazy. I hate that, actually. And to be honest, it feels more possible every day.
Yeah. Truly.
Anyway, so veiny head, very gay man, his Earth name is Enoch, so I guess I'll call him that from now on. And he is an ancient alien sent to Earth 300,000...
Sorry to interrupt, but he is a sentient chronicom, not an ancient alien.
Whatever that means. And he was sent to Earth.
It'll come into play later.
Okay. He was sent to Earth 300,000 years ago to observe the human species. An anthropologist, if you will.
Yeah.
So he shows Fitz the video of the others being sent through the monolith, and then Enoch says that the seer told him of this prophecy, and so he's ensuring that it comes to fruition, and that Fitz was not named in the prophecy. So Fitz holds Hunter's gun to Enoch's head and says, "Who do I need to speak to change the prophecy?"
That was a little bit of framework Fitz coming out.
Yeah.
That was a little scary.
A little bit. A little bit. It was kind of hot, though. Oops. Enoch brings them to a nearby park where a woman is sitting with a little girl who is drawing with crayons. Fitz recognizes the woman as Polly Hinton, and the little girl must be Robin. And Robin sounded very familiar to me, but I had only a vague memory of a homeless guy Inhuman who was trying to do something for his daughter Robin.
Yeah.
But they reminded us later. It's fine.
Yep.
And Robin is the seer. The government officials are not far behind. They break into Enoch's house once it's empty and find Robin's artwork on the fridge that shows the two of them in this kitchen exactly where they're standing. One of them with an apple, the other one with a piece of paper in her hand. Which is insane. Absolutely.
Yeah.
As Hunter and Fitz are looking through some of Robin's drawings, one of them is the earth cracking into pieces. Terrifying.
Poor girl.
I know. The government has caught up to them in the park. Fitz starts to, gather up all of Robin's prophecies and get everyone to run, but Enoch just gives each of them earplugs. And then, as the officers are watching, all of their targets just disappear before their eyes, and they lose 30 minutes of time. It is nice to have Enoch on your side. Goddamn.
I love Enoch.
He's great.
He's fantastic.
Enoch tells Fitz that he's taking... Enoch tells Fitz that he's taking them where he took the others. Specifically, where, not when. And then he hands Fitz the postcard that Aladdin showed them from the beginning. We're catching up. I forgot what the guy's actual name was.
Virgil.
Thank you. So, they are in picturesque Lake Ontario underneath a lighthouse. Enoch says that it is unknown how far down the safe house goes, unknown how long it's been there, and unknown who built it, which is very unsettling. He says that Robin is no longer safe, so they must figure out what to do with her, or what to do for her. When Hunter asks why not just ask Robin where they should take her, Enoch explains that Robin's prophecies come in their own time, and it's best not to interfere. Fitz says that sending his friends to the future sounds like a pretty big interference. But Enoch says that the only exception to this rule is in order to prevent a full-on extinction event. What that event actually is, unknown. And, it's insane that the extinction event is not the planet breaking into pieces. Seems like that should maybe be the thing that they stop, but it's not.
Yeah, I can't spoil anything.
Oh no. They are all just chilling on opposite ends of this room in this safe house under the lighthouse. Oh! The lighthouse.
Yeah. Where?
Oh.
Where, not when.
and it goes down for forever. Oh. Okay. Thank you. So that felt like that felt like when I have a breakthrough in therapy and my therapist just sits there and lets me like feel my emotions. Like, hold on. I'm having a realization.
I was like, yeah, let it out.
Anyway. Okay. So, as I said, they're all just chilling on opposite ends of this room. And Fitz tells Hunter what he knows about Robin's story. Her dad was the Inhuman who would have visions of violent deaths every time that he touched someone. So he couldn't have contact with his wife or his baby daughter because the other person that he touched would also have these visions. But he saved Daisy, and Fitz thinks about how far he and Simmons have come since that time, which is really cute.
Yeah.
He starts to admit to Hunter that he thinks maybe he never should have revealed his feelings for Simmons, that maybe the universe doesn't want them to be together in order to protect Simmons from the darkness that Fitz has inside of him. But Hunter tells him that everyone has light and darkness inside them. It's just a matter of being able to control it and channel it when you need to. Which is actually very good advice.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hunter. Hunter suggests that Fitz go ask Robin why he wasn't included with the SHIELD team that got sent to the future. Like, no one was considering that someone needed to bring them back. Obviously.
It seems like it would be obvious, yeah.
But Polly says that Robin doesn't really say much since Terrigenesis. She can't keep track of the world around her because the past, present, and future are all, like, the same to her. It's all just intertwined.
Yeah.
So sometimes she forgets that Polly is even her mother, which, God, poor Polly.
And to interrupt you for a second, I think in, like, season 2, when they're explaining Terrigenesis, when they're explaining May's tragic backstory about her trauma.
Yeah.
The little girl, she went insane because she went through Terrigenesis too young.
Yeah.
And so, like, from what I understand, like, Terrigenesis can really, like, mess with your mind if it's, like, not developed.
Yeah. Aw. Poor thing.
Yeah.
So Polly says that Enoch has been very helpful to them, though. He not only in, like, helping Robin, but also giving Polly the ability to understand and accept Robin as she is and, like, be able to care for her with all of these changes. But because Fitz is being so nice and brought them breakfast, even though Hunter cooked it, she offers to try and ask Robin why Fitz isn't with his friends. Robin hands Fitz a drawing of 2 humans and 2 aliens standing around one dead person and says, "It's because you have to save them." I knew it. I assumed that the 2... I was like, oh, that must be Kree, but they're not blue.
No. And I'm trying to remember, but I can't.
And I don't know who the people were supposed to be.
I'm trying to remember. Can't.
Anyway, he has to save them.
Yeah.
So Fitz is struggling to wrap his brain around trying to help his friends who are 70 plus years in the future. And Enoch says that he may have a way to help. He can interfere now that it's a prophecy. He says he came to Earth on some ship and that what they need is now being kept at a place called Blue Raven Ridge, which just so happens to be the very military base that Hunter just broke Fitz out of. So it looks like they're breaking back in.
That's like breaking the first rule of espionage, is what they said, right?
Yeah.
Don't ever enter two different places. Don't ever enter one place as two different people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I butchered that.
That's okay. We got there eventually. So they drive back up to the gate with fresh fake IDs made by Rusty's old pal Coots. The best Hunter's money could buy. And Hunter's southern accent is adorable. But somehow they get let through without a hitch.
So, when entering the military base, Hunter and Fitz give the false names of Peltzer and Futterman. These are surnames of characters from the movie Gremlins.
Oh. Also never saw it.
Which also I have not seen, yeah.
So their plan is to release the ferrets to set off all the alarms, because ferrets will naturally go to like the perimeter and the pipes and stuff. And so we'll set off all the alarms and get the guards all focused on the perimeter of the facility instead of just the building that they're in. So they'll have some time. And then they find what they're looking for and then some. And is this the Zephyr?
Yeah, it's Zephyr 1.
Yeah. It was it. We found it. Yay!
We found it! Yay! So when Fitz and Hunter break into the military warehouse to retrieve the cryo chamber, the crate containing the Ark of the Covenant from Raiders of the Lost Ark can be seen on an upper shelf, identifiable by the Nazi eagle stenciled on the side with the swastika burned out.
Oh. You know, I have seen that movie, but I still didn't.
I also have not.
That's also one that I get bored on. Anyway. So, the guards... What's with all the 80s references in this one? I mean, I guess...
I don't know.
We also have, like, Back to the Future, sort of. Anyway. So the guards find them just as they're realizing that all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s stuff is on the plane with them, which is great. So Fitz and Hunter, well, mostly Fitz, leaps into action to hold them off, and he tells Hunter to go and, like, get the plane in the air. And they do it within seconds. Fitz is so fast with those icers.
Yeah, truly. He's a changed man.
He is. So the general tells her subordinates that were in charge of Fitz how disappointed she is in them. She says that she can't trust them anymore, but instead of demoting them, she shoots them both in the head. So she's not just a normal general, obviously.
She's a cool general.
Oh, yikes. So Fitz and the gang are back under the lighthouse, and Fitz hides the shield weapons in the wall so that it'll be there for them in the future. He tells Hunter the rest of the plan. Fitz is going to get frozen in a cryo chamber for 75 years, and then Enoch's alien friends, sorry, what did you call them? Chronocoms, will orbit the planet unseen and then let him out when it's time.
So the cryo chamber that Enoch came to Earth in is actually a slightly modified and repainted Full Force XL XXL car luggage box.
That's so funny.
And then a goof.
Ooh.
We actually
We
had a
haven't had
couple
one
of
in a
goofs.
while.
Yeah. There was not a Wikipedia page for this episode, but there was a lot of fun facts on IMDb, so it made up for it.
Ooh, okay, awesome.
So just before putting Fitz in the cryo chamber, Enoch says, "We'll orbit a planet hidden safely away from Earth." When they flash forward to the future, the caption says, 365 million miles from the lighthouse. Earth's orbit is about 93 million miles from the sun, and Jupiter's is about 483 million miles, meaning that he must be orbiting Jupiter. In galactic terms, Jupiter is not exactly far away nor hidden. Then again, perhaps it's enough since the ship itself is comparatively small.
Well, I don't know that he meant the planet was hidden safely away from Earth. I think he meant we will orbit a planet and we will be hidden safely away from Earth.
Yeah, I guess so.
Goof on you!
Yeah. You've made it your life's mission to, like, debunk the goofs.
I love debunking goofs. I do it every time, don't I? Because it's so nitpicky that, like, you know what? I'm gonna nitpick you back, okay?
Yeah.
I hate a misunderstanding when, like, it's just that you're reading the text wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, Enoch will let him out in 75 years when it's time, and then he'll go and save his friends. So he gives Robin the postcard, and then Hunter says that he and Bobby will take care of Polly and Robin in the meantime. And then they hug again, and this time Hunter doesn't want to let go.
Yeah.
And so Fitz gets in, and Hunter looks through the glass and says, "I love you." And then Fitz says, "I know." They're such fucking dorks. What the hell?
So, before entering the cryo chamber vessel, Lance Hunter and Leo Fitz quote the last dialogue between Leia Organa. I said Leah, almost. Leia Organa and Han Solo before Solo is freezed into a carbonite block.
Yeah.
Frozen.
Frozen. Well, cryo freeze. I don't know. Whatever. I am starting to think that Deke is like Hunter and Bobby's kid or something.
That would be interesting.
That
yeah.
would be super interesting. Anyway, we'll see how that pans out. So now it's time.
I feel like I'm looking into the camera like I'm on The Office. Sorry, I just interrupted post-content content.
That's okay. So now it's time for the post-content content. So 74 years later, Fitz wakes up.
Another goof. So just before Fitz wakes up from inside the cryogenic pod, the countdown timer on the pod is shown as it reaches 0. The display for the countdown timer uses 6 digits for the total amount of minutes. However, 74 years equals to just under 39 million minutes, which is an 8-digit number.
Oh no. Maybe it changed.
Yeah.
Anyway. I can't ungoof that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It is very nitpicky, though.
Yeah, fuck y'all. Enoch greets him and says, "Good morning, Fitz. Rise and shine," which is my favorite thing, and I love Enoch.
And so, another goof. This one is more of a continuity goof. When Fitz goes into cryogenic hibernation, his eyes are open, but in the future, when awakened, his eyes are closed.
You know what? I'll give it to him. That's a goof, and they should have known that.
Yeah.
That is a continuity error, and I will give it to you. So Enoch helps Fitz out of the Fit out of the chamber and gives him a blanket. And he says that they have a few days before they arrive at the lighthouse, so they have time for Enoch to prepare him for the plan that he has set into motion for Fitz. He says Fitz will have to face off against some of the most ruthless mobsters, monsters, and mercenaries in the galaxy. What a line.
I know, right?
And so he says, "Are you sure you have it in you?" And Fitz says, "I've got it in me." And his face is all dark. He didn't go through all this bullshit for nothing, my dude.
And I said, that's what she said.
I stopped myself from putting that in. But I'm glad that you included it.
No, he said, "I've got it in me." And I'm like, oh, do you now?
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
Is it Hunters? JK.
Okay, overall thoughts?
Well, so I think I said most of my overall thoughts throughout the episode.
Yeah.
But now I'm just like, Deke being Hunter and Bobby's son is making more sense to me. And I'm like piecing that story together in my mind. So I hope I'm not wrong about that one, because that'll be embarrassing. Anyway. Because they're taking care of the seer, and then so it makes sense that they're the ones who like know the most about the prophecy. And then they get killed for it. Or so-called. So we think. Anyway, okay. That's all. What did you think?
I had a lot of fun in this episode. I was excited to see Fitz back.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to have Fitz back.
Yes.
You know?
And I love a good heist episode. I think it was fun.
Yeah.
And we had our little BFFs got to hang out again, and I'm really happy for Fitz on that.
Yeah.
We get to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah. Right. Well, that concludes our episode on Season 5, Episode 5, Rewind.
Yeah.
Next time we'll be covering Season 5, Episode 6, Fun and Games, so stay tuned for that.
Ooh. Okay, bye.
Bye. Love you.